Okay.
Yes. Larry, did you say you wanted to read from one of your books, or did you not want to?
I can take an excerpt from one if you'd like me to.
That would be awesome.
Well, let's see.
Good question.
They're all good. So just close your eyes and point.
I think what I might do is take this one here, the first book in the Legacy, The Patriarch, and it's set in World War I. The first half, that one there, that's the set the stage real quick. The first half is set in the World War I in France and Belgium in the trenches, and the protagonist Sam McCormick, he survives and comes back to the States, but he's got to deal with all kinds of stuff. I mean, he's got health issues from being gassed and stomach issues, which most of the veterans coming back from that war did have. There was over 4 million men that eventually were sent over there that served in France and Belgium. And then when he comes back, he gets hired on as a steel worker at a local steel plant, and he works his way up into management there on the line, of course. And he has a decent life, but it's hard for him, and he gets involved in some issues nobody's ever heard of unless and there's not many of them left, if any, but what was called the Bonus Army, the Bonus Army March on Washington in 1932 by the World War I veterans. A couple of chapters are dedicated to that, which is the piece of our history which just fascinated me. And then in the early to mid 30s, with the Great Depression still going on and people having a hard time getting a decent pay or getting even jobs, there was a lot of strikes around the country, particularly in the steel industry, what was called the Little Steel Strikes in the Northeast, which is where our concentration of steel places were. And these men that worked in these plants, a lot of them were veterans, and they seemed to bear the brunt a lot of times of the strike busters, if you will, the management trying to stop the strikes from happening or bust them up. And they would pick on the veterans because these are the fellas who could organize themselves, and they didn't like to put up with a lot of stuff. So they tended to be, if you will, de facto leaders, and they were viewed by management as threats. So they were disproportionately targeted during a lot of these strikes. So I tried to capture some of that in the book. But I think what I was going to do here is read from the very first of it. It's chapter 1, and it's called Waiting to Attack. It goes like this. Over the deafening noise, the raging sounds of battle, I hear myself yelling, "Come on, men, you can't live forever. Keep moving, men." The appalling, nauseating smell of blood-soaked dirt and cordite is almost overpowering. Hundreds of us are charging forward with fixed bayonets, shouting, cursing, screaming, and dying. The Germans are dug in on the ridge line above us, throwing hand grenades and pouring murderous rifle and machine gun fire into our ranks. Men are falling all around me as we close in on the German lines. Many Germans climb out of their trenches, leaving the relative security they are afforded, and charge us. Some of our men yell out curses at the enemy. Some call out their mothers, and others just die in silence. Their eyes glaze over and fade out. To my front, a German and American charge each other, leading with their bayonets. They run head on and impel each other through the chest. They stare into each other's eyes momentarily and die standing up. Heads hung down as if to say, "I'm sorry for what I've done." We keep moving forward as our ranks continue to shrink. More Germans emerge from the trenches. They have us at a disadvantage and know it. We are fighting for our lives. We can't make our objective. Then we hear the call to retreat and begin the deadly hand-to-hand fight to get back to our trenches. 2 Germans to my right are slashing at one of my men. I rush them and thrust my bayonet into the closest soldier. The other man turns to attack me. I pull my pistol and shoot him. He spins around and drops, but it's too late for my comrade. They showed him no mercy. Enraged, I try to rally what troops are left, standing and fight a retreating action. As we move back, we're stopping over the dead bodies of hundreds of fellow Americans. One of my men, a close friend, is being dragged back toward the German trenches by several soldiers. trying to take him prisoner. My rifle and pistol are out of ammunition. I charge forwards to rescue him. Two of the enemy turn to face me. I extend my rifle with the bayonet fixed, step into them, both of them, and slash across their necks with all my might. The other Germans release my friend, but club him to death with their rifle butts as he falls. They turn to charge me. Dropping my empty rifle, I desperately look around and grab another lying on the ground near me. Raising it barely in time, I fire, killing one of the Germans as the other continues toward me with his bloody bayonet extended. Before he reaches me, an artillery shell goes off near us. I'm thrown to the ground. The world around me goes dark. I hear voices. See that padre over there? He's busy picking up things to send back to their next of kin. Watch how carefully and reverently he's removing items from the soldier's pocket. Opening my eyes and looking toward the sounds of the voices, I see a padre kneel and remove items from the chest pocket of a dead American soldier. Standing near the padre is a captain and a private. The captain instructs the private to help the padre. The private kneels and removes some items from the other dead soldier near him. He stands up, looks around at the field of dead and dying, and says, God, I'm glad I'm not in the infantry. They haven't a chance, have they, Captain? Suddenly, I'm awakened from another nightmarish dream by one of my men. That starts the chapter.
Wow.
Wow.